Copycat Marketing, Chapter 2. What is true wealth? If you have to tell people you are rich, you aren't. What does it mean to be wealthy? I mean, truly wealthy. Certainly, the word wealth means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. To me, wealth isn't just about being able to buy things, although that's a nice side benefit. To me, true wealth is synonymous with freedom. Here's my personal definition of wealth, and I think it pretty much captures the biggest benefits of wealth. Wealth is having enough money and enough time to do what you want when you want. Do you think Bill Gates, who is worth billions, keeps his job as CEO of Microsoft because he has to or because he wants to? I think it's safe to say that Bill Gates has enough money and enough time to do what he wants when he wants because Bill Gates has created true wealth, not just income. In a word, true wealth is freedom. Wealth means freedom to choose. Chuck Finney is in the same financial league as Bill Gates. As the founder of hundreds of duty-free shops and airports all over the world, Finney is worth billions, or I should say he was worth billions. In 1984, Finney donated 99.5% of his $3.5 billion fortune to a charitable foundation. Today, he is donating his time and his money to worthy causes all over the world. Both Bill Gates and Chuck Finney understand that true wealth means having total freedom to choose how to spend your time and your money. Gates is choosing to spend his time creating more wealth, while Finney is choosing to spend his time giving his fortune away. The common denominator that enables these two men to make two very different choices is true wealth. Spend your time wisely. Most people think true wealth is having lots of money so you can buy material things. But the wisest people understand that true wealth isn't so much about buying more things as it is about having more time to do what you want to do. Think about it. When you are old and grey, sitting on the front porch of a nursing home, contemplating how you lived your life, what are you most likely to regret? Not buying a more expensive home or not spending more time with your kids when they were young? What are you most likely to regret? Not working around the clock for that promotion at the office or spending more time with your parents and your friends when they needed you? Time is our most precious commodity, far more precious than gold, because once it's gone, you can never get it back. If you wreck your car, you can always buy another car. If you lose your job, you can always get another job. If you lose money in a bad investment, you can always make more money. But you can never get back the time you have lost or misspent. Can you? Once it's gone forever. An ancient Chinese proverb says it best: better to throw all of your fortune down a deep well than to squander one moment of time. That's why I say true wealth is having enough money and enough time to do what you want when you want. Without a doubt, the biggest benefit of true wealth is having the freedom to choose how you spend your time. Income creation, the time for money trap. Have you ever known any hardworking doctors or lawyers who make upwards of $150,000 per year? But they feel trapped. Are they creating true wealth? According to my definition of wealth, the answer is no. Here's why. Even though many highly paid professionals have the money to buy things and do what they want, most of them do not have the time because they have to keep working at their jobs day in and day out. In effect, They have to work to create income so they can maintain their lifestyles. People who are locked into their jobs, no matter how much or how little they earn, are victims of income creation, not wealth creation. With income creation, you trade time for dollars, which means you don't earn the money until you personally do the work. Whether it's a garbage collector earning the minimum wage of $5.15 per hour or a heart surgeon earning $5,000 per hour. Income creation is still trading a unit of time for a unit of dollars. With income creation, 10 hours of work equals 10 hours of pay. Unfortunately, income creation is an endless treadmill. That's why I call income creation the time for money trap. Worst of all, when the treadmill stops, the income stops, which means that workers who fall victim to illness or injury or long layoffs or burnout are incomeless. When the outgo equals the income. Let's take a look at a typical rich professional. Let's call him John Smith. With an annual income of $150,000. Now, by almost everyone's standards, this income in a year is a lot of money. But when highly paid professionals become dependent on their incomes to support their lifestyles, they become unwitting victims of the time for money trap. Slave to temporary income. As you can see, Dr. Smith lives a pretty nice lifestyle. We'd all love to have the money to join a swanky country club, to take expensive vacations in Colorado or leisurely cruises in the Caribbean. Sure, Dr. Smith may have a lifestyle most of us only dreamt about, but he is paying a dear, dear price for that lifestyle because he mortgaged it with his freedom. You see, Dr. Smith has a temporary income, but he does not have the freedom to come and go as he pleases. He chained to his job because he has become a slave to his lifestyle. Dr. Smith has to go to the office every day whether he wants to or not. If Dr. Smith doesn't show up, he doesn't get paid. And if Dr. Smith doesn't get paid, neither does the mortgage or the car loans or the credit card bills or the tuition to private school. Is it any wonder that so many professionals fall victim to early heart attacks? An accident waiting to happen. Where would the highly paid doctor be if he developed arthritis in his hands and could no longer create income because he had to stop working? More to the point, where would you be if you could no longer create income because you had to stop working? More to the point, where would you be if you could no longer create income because you had to stop working? For most of us, that's the ultimate nightmare. That's the problem with income creation. It's temporary. If you don't stop working, your income doesn't stops. When you stop working, the income stops too. And if you don't have any income stream other than your job, you are heading for disaster. According to Business Week magazine, it takes the average worker half his lifetime to purchase a home, accumulate some savings, and retirement benefits. It takes about 6 months of unemployment to lose it all. Scary, isn't it? Freedom through residual income. Wouldn't it be great if you could enjoy all of the benefits of Dr. Smith's lifestyle without the liability of having to go into work if you don't want to? That would be the ultimate dream come true, wouldn't it be? Fortunately, there is another kind of income other than temporary income. It's called residual income, and unlike temporary income, residual income keeps earning money whether you show up to work or not. Residual income doesn't fall victim to the time for money trap because it is not dependent on trading time for dollars. To see how residual income is created, let's look at another fictitious professional. We all call him Mr. Joe Jones. CPA, like Dr. Smith, Mr. Jones has a thriving practice. But unlike Dr. Smith, Mr. Jones fully understood the power of residual income. For the last 40 years of his prosperous career, Mr. Jones saved 10% of his gross income and invested it wisely. Now retired, today Mr. Jones has $1.5 million invested in mutual funds, earning 10% per year, which gives him residual income equivalent to Dr. Smith's temporary income, which is $1,50,000. Even though the incomes are same, what each man has to do to earn it is very different. As the chart below indicates, the difference between temporary and residual income. In case of temporary income, we are trading time for dollars. In case of residual income, we leverage our time. Money grows leniently in case of temporary income, whereas in case of residual income, money grows exponentially. Income stops if we are disabled in case of temporary income, whereas income continues indefinitely in case of residual income. We are not creating true wealth in case of temporary income. We are creating true wealth in case of residual income. So now I ask you, which income would you prefer to receive, temporary income or residual income? The answer is obvious. Creating true wealth, wealth creation as opposed to income creation isn't limited by the time for money trap because of a concept called leverage. The only way to create true wealth is to leverage your time, money and efforts so that 10 hours of work equals 100 hours of pay or even 1,000. You see, the rich get richer because they take advantage of leverage by investing their money over time. As I pointed out in my second book, you can't steal second with your foot on first. The typical millionaire earned his fortune by saving 20% of his income and investing it wisely for years and years. That's the way the rich get rich and stay rich, by putting their money to work for them by investing it over time. That's the big difference between income creation and wealth creation. Income creation is temporary. You have to do the work or you don't get the income. Wealth creation is permanent. You escape the time for money trap by putting your money and your time to work for you, leveraging your time. Now, I understand that very few people make enough or are disciplined enough to do what Mr. Jones did and leverage his monthly savings into $1.5 million. Fortunately, leveraging your money is not the only tried and true way to create true wealth. The other way to create true wealth is to leverage your time by investing it instead of wasting it. We all have used the expression time is money, haven't we? Well, due to the poor power of leverage, that axiom is truer today than ever before. It's obvious that we do not all have the same amount of money, but it's equally obvious that we all do have the same amount of time. Now, I want you to understand that this book is not about investing your money to create wealth. It's about investing your time to create wealth, because time equals money when you invest it properly. It doesn't make any difference whether a person is a billionaire or a beggar. We all have access to the same amount of time, 24 hours in a day, 168 hours in a week, 672 hours in a month, 8064 hours in a year. The key to wealth creation is not creating more time, which is impossible. The key is to take full advantage of the time we have. Wouldn't you agree? Fortunately for all of us, today there is a way to leverage some of our time, which we all have an equal amount of, to create true wealth, instead of leveraging our money, which most of us have very little of. Fortunately, there is a leverage system where you can trade a little time for a lot of dollars instead of a linear system where you trade a lot of time for little dollars. Fortunately, today there is a simple duplicatable system for leveraging your time and efforts that virtually anyone can copycat. Are you copycatting the wrong system? Let's face it, most of us weren't born with the last name of DuPont or Rockefeller. We aren't born geniuses like Bill Gates and Chuck Finney, and we don't have the talent of Michael Jordan or Tom Cruise. All too often, we assume that wealth creation comes from winning the lottery of life. It's only meant for super talented people or super blessed people, but it's certainly not meant for average people like you and me. That's nonsense. We must not buy into that line of limited thinking. That's garbage thinking, and we need to throw that kind of thinking, of that negative thinking, out with the trash starting right now. The truth is that most people assume they can't create wealth when in fact they can. The real reason most people don't create true wealth is because they have never been made aware of a wealth creating system they can copy. In other words, most of us have bought into copycatting the wrong plan because we aren't aware of a wealth building model to copy. We copy what everyone else we know is doing. We take a job. We do what most people do, and as a result, we get what most people get. Not knocking jobs. Please understand that I'm not knocking jobs. I'm knocking the results we get from working at a job. If jobs created true wealth, I'd be the first person to tell you to follow the job track, but they don't. That's just the cold, hard reality of it all. Copycat exponential growth, not linear growth. Truth is, you will never create true wealth as long as you are copycatting the income creation system because it's based on linear growth as opposed to wealth creation, which is based on leveraged growth. In the next chapter, we'll take a closer look at the limitations of linear growth and we'll discuss why we need to start copycatting leveraged systems if we are sincere about becoming totally free by creating true wealth. Thanks for watching this video. Kindly subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon so that you get the notifications at the earliest.